Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, Scientist Blade, and I am Avinash. And basically, what I do, I teach data science, and today is day 21st. And yesterday, we had learned about the conditional statements, which was if, else, elif, and all those things. And we have decided that today we will start with the loops, basically loops, and with the jump statements as well. So, let's see how much we can cover in this meet. And yes, first of first, when I usually start with the meet, I tell you guys to just go through the mind maps. And basically, what is a mind map? Again, it's the pictorial representation of a data in a crisp manner. It's like if you are having a data, for example, there is a book related to Python, or there is a book related to Matplotlib or data science or anything, right? So we are humans. You are not a robot that we will simply scan a book like this and we will get to know what are the contents inside those 300 pages, right? We will not get it all at once. But being a human, if we want that, we should grasp all the necessary contents which are there on all those 300 pages. For that, what we need mind map, because on a single screen we will be able to see the important things. And yes, it also helps us to memorize it. It's like at the very first day you will find it boring, means like you will not get the things, the stuffs into your head, right? But gradually, day after day, when you start reading the mind map every day, so what will happen, it will take generally a lesser time, and also it will help you to memorize the things, to relocate the things in a easier manner, means like it will be helpful for you guys. Okay, it had helped me, so I think it will help you guys as well. So just trust the process, because I think that this process will work. Okay, so how can you again open the mind map is the same thing. Just open your Google Chrome. Okay, and inside a Google Chrome you just write Python mind map. Okay, and here on the very first result you will get to see the mind map for Python. Okay. And till now, what we have discussed the introduction of Python. We have discussed all the data types inside a Python, numeric data types, sequential data types, mapping data types, sets, and all those things. We discussed about variables in Python. What are the certain rules pertaining while declaring a variable? We discussed about operators in Python. What are the different types of operators? Right. Yesterday we have discussed about the conditional statements in Python. What is if, else, elif, and all those stuffs, right? And today what we are going to do, we are going to discuss about the loops. Okay. Basically, what is the loops? Loops, and also some kind of jump statements as well. Okay. So basically, what are the jump statements? By the word itself, I'm not asking you guys that define me in the term of Python, that what do you mean jump inside a Python? No, it's just a simple English language word which is jump. And what do you mean by that? Okay. So I want you to write it on the comment section or in the chat box. What do you understand by this particular term so-called jump? Okay. So basically jump means basically if we want to skip anything, right? If we want to skip the steps, and it doesn't matter, it's like where we want to skip the steps. For example, you are climbing a staircase, right? And if you want to reach faster, so what you will do, you will jump 2 3 stairs, and you will just move forward, right? So in a simple language, the jump, we can define it, we skips the uh, our steps, so that it saves our time, and also it will be efficient in our day to day work, right? For 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 example, uh some might be watching this video who already knows basically what the loops is. Okay, so what they will do, they will just jump the loops, jump this explanatory video, right? they will switch on to the functions or the next other concept which I will be uh, elaborating upon. Okay, so they will just skip this video. Why they will skip? Because they already know the things, and skipping this will help them in what? It will help them in sprinting and developing their skills, means like in a much faster way, right? So I hope you guys have understood basically the term called jump. Okay, and inside a jump statement, there are three types of statements, which is called break, continue, and pass. Okay, so by the term itself, break, again I am not asking this related to Python, that what do you mean by break in Python? No, break, such as a simple English language, what do you mean by break? Okay, break means what we are doing, we are terminating the things. For example, uh, you are riding a bike, right? And suddenly you apply brakes. So what will happen? Uh, the bike initially was in motion, and suddenly you are stopping that thing. Okay. So to stop something from its initial cause by applying brakes. Okay. So previously what was your bike doing? It was moving, right? And now it got stopped. Why it got stopped? Because you applied brake. Okay. So from the initial phase, the phase changes from motion till coming to a stop, right? So in Python as well, break means, for example, your loop has been executing, right? Your loop has been running, your loop was in motion, and suddenly if you put a statement called break, then what will happen? The loop will terminate and it will not execute further. Same as when you are applying brake in your motorcycle or in your car. So your vehicle was in motion, you applied the brake and it came to a stop. It will not move further unless you accelerate or unless you put yourself from the brakes, right? It will be in that particular state as well. And the state was that it will be in a stopped position, right? So in Python, it applies the same way. If the code had been running, the loop had been going on, the function had been going on, and if you apply a statement called break, if you write a statement called break, the motion will execute it at the right time. Means like then and there, not basically right time, then and there, the loop will execute, everything will terminate, and it will come to the uh, out of the loop and out of the Python as well, and it will print the several things, right? Several things, again what? The previous things which we were doing before applying break. Okay, so just for you guys to make easy to understand in a simple word, in a simple definition, what we call break is break. It apply whenever we apply break inside our Python code, it terminates the loop. It terminates the operations which we have been doing earlier, and it will come to a hold. Okay, basically not on hold, because hold means we can restart again, but here restarting is not possible. Okay, break means break. So I hope you guys had understood about the break itself. And what is the continue? The basically the purpose of continue is that it will stop the iteration only for one time. Okay, for example, you are executing a loop, right? And the loop has been executing, and for example, you have written a line of code called continue. So what will happen at that particular point of time? Continue will be there. Your loop will not iterate, and for the second iteration it will operate, just like as a speed breaker, right? Whenever speed breaker comes, you apply brakes, and after the speed breaker had been went off, you again accelerate, right? So at that certain point of time, when there was a speed breaker, your vehicle moved to a certain speed, means like your vehicle got stopped and then it accelerated again. Okay, so It's stopping only for one instance. It's not stopping everywhere, right? It just stopped at that particular instance where the speed breaker had came, where the continue statement had came. Okay, it will not stop every time unless the speed breaker comes again or any signal comes again, right? So basically continue statements, which uh, continue statements in Python in simple words, which I would define is continued statements. Uh, it uh, Continue statements is used to uh, hold the iteration for that particular instance. Means like for that particular instance, the loop will not execute. After that, the loop will start executing again. Okay, so it holds the iteration for the current iteration which is going on, and then it will move on then and there to the next iteration. Okay, so for example, let me define in a more simpler way is what do you mean by continue. Continue is to stop the current iteration and move on to the next iteration. Okay, what does break does? Break stops all the iterations, and then and there the loop will come to a break and it will terminate. But continue will stop the current iteration and move on to the next iteration. It will not execute whatever thing is happening in that particular instance, in that particular iteration. It will then and there move on to the next iteration, and then again the loop will go on, the things will go on in a smooth way, and there is no need for that. And pass here, pass again, not by the Python term, by simple English language term. What do you understand by pass? Okay, so pass is something that you have been authorized with. Okay, there is no such kind of what you can say, there is no such kind of objection whenever you are moving into something. It will just give you a pass. For example, if you are having your college identity card, which is a pass for you, right? The guard or the security guard, whether you are working in some corporate or whether you are working, you are in some college or institute, right? The guard will not stop you because you are having that pass, right? That pass shows that okay, you are authorized to enter this particular building. Okay, so it will not prevent you, it will not stop you in going inside to that particular building, whether that building is college or some corporate or anything. You are having a pass, right? Means like you are a authorized person to enter there. Means like there is a no objection in it. So generally pass, what it does, it just execute the loops. Means like whenever you are writing pass in Python, it will not affect anything, it will just move on to the next line of code. Okay, for example, if you have written something in Python, what Python will do, Python will try to execute it, but what you want, you doesn't want to execute that particular line of code. So what you will do, you will just use the pass statement. Pass statement means you will tell Python, okay, don't execute this line, just pass it. So what Python will do, so what Python will do, it will execute to the next line. It will simply pass that thing. Okay, it will simply pass that thing, it will not execute it. Okay, so here, now let's move on to the spider. Again, I've told you guys what spider is and why to use a spider, because again it is a beginner friendly, and yes, it provides us, it's like various features as a beginner. If you want to learn something in a more detailed way, in a detailed way to understand each and everything from zero, spider solely helps you that. There are many IDs. You can see here, VS Code is there. You can see here our PyCharm is there. And these are the excellent IDs, beautiful IDs. You can execute everything. But again, why to use Spider? Spider, it has various features. You can see here. It not only execute line by line, but yes, it also helps us to see the variable explorer here, what type of variable we are assigning into it. It helps us to see the variables, it helps us to see the plots, files, etc. Everything, right? With certain IDs doesn't provide such. So again, it's not the thing that if they this is providing these things, then it makes the spider more efficient. No, it's not like that. It is efficient for beginners because they will understand everything from zero, and it is better for them to understand that. It will give the several documentation pertaining to certain functions. It will give the certain directories pertaining to certain functions. Okay, so like this way it helps the beginners, which other IDs doesn't allow such. Okay, and how to open a new file in Spider? It's just as simple as like you guys have been working with some Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, so what you do there, right? You just go there inside a file option, and a pop-up will appear here. Just click on a new file, and as soon as the new file is being clicked, you can see here the file is being opened. Okay, so just you can start coding with it. Okay, so what we have discussed till now, we discussed about break. Okay, let me increase the font. Break. So what break does? It terminates the loop. It terminates the whole loop or iteration. Okay, then it comes with the continue. And what continue does? It skips the current iteration and move on to the next iteration. Okay, and what does pass does? It skips the whole set of code. Or loop. So theoretically, I hope you guys have understood what jump statement means, and what are the certain different types of jump statements in Python, what are the different types of jump statements, and what are the definition of those. Theoretically, I think you guys have understood it. And if you haven't understood it, you can rewatch this video. Okay, this is being getting recorded, and you can watch it n number of times until you get yourself understood, right? So here, now we will, what we will do, we will move on to the loops. Basically, what is loops? Once we will discuss the theoretical part of the loops, then we will move on to the practical implementation of both the loops and jump statements. Okay, if I will discuss about the practical implementation of break and continue, somewhere or the other I have to use loop, I have to use function, because break continue, what it does, it breaks the certain line of code, right? So somewhere or the other I have to use. So it's better to discuss both the things in a theoretical way, then move on to the practical implementation. Okay. So the very first loop in Python is for loop. Okay. And what do you mean by for loop? Okay. So for loop means if uh basically, what do you mean by the loop? The word itself, loop. What do you mean by it? Right? What do you mean by loop? So basically, if you want to execute the certain line of code and number of types. For example, if I will ask you guys to print your name 1,000 times, okay, in Python, to print your name 1,000 times. So what you will do, you will write like this, right? Print my name is Avinash, okay? And if you'll write this, you will see that, okay, one time this is being getting printed. But what if I say you have to print it 1,000 times? So what you have to do? You have to just copy it, paste it, again copy, my bad, again copy paste, again copy paste, again copy paste, again copy paste. Basically, you have to write this 1,000 times. Okay, basically you have to write this 1,000 times, and when you will write this 1,000 times, then only your name will be getting printed the 1,000 times, right? So what it does, basically, what you can derive from it, from this scenario, what conclusion you can derive it, right? Basically, loop, loop, it's taking too much of time, right? It's taking too much of time and effort to print these things, to write these things. And loop means, loop will help us to save our time and save our efforts as well. Okay, you don't have to write the same thing every time, each after each. You don't have to write that. You don't have to do the certain things every time. No, loop will help us to get rid of this. Okay, and it will save our time. It will save our efforts. It will save everything, right? And in a simple English term, the loop means you are stuck in a certain, what you can say, you are stuck in a certain process, like whether it can be your day to day life, like for example, you are waking up in the morning, you are going to the office, or you are going to the college, you are studying, and thereafter you are doing certain things, right? You are stuck in a loop, you are stuck in a process of doing the same thing each and every day, right? You are doing the same thing each and every day, the process you are doing every day. So here as well, if you want to continue the same process and number of times here, and it doesn't mean you have to do it 10 times, 1,000 times. No, it's depend upon you how many times you have to carry it with that, right? So if you want to continue with the same process, if you want to continue with the process and number of times, thereafter we are using loop. Okay, and in Python there are basically two loops, right? The very first is for loop. Okay, and what does for loop does? Okay, for loop basically it helps whenever we know the fixed number of iteration. Okay, for example, if we know that we have to execute the line of code at least 1,000 times or 100 times in previous itself, we know beforehand, we know that okay, we have to perform these certain things this number of times. Okay, so for that particular thing we are using for loop. Okay, I hope you are understanding it, why we are using for loop. We are using for loop when we know the iterations, we know how many times we have to execute that particular thing, we already know it beforehand, then only we use for loop. Unless we don't use it, right? So here definition will be, if if we know the iteration beforehand, then we use for loop. If we know the number of iterations beforehand, then we use for loop. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood, and you, and if you haven't, then again this meeting is getting recorded and you can watch it n number of times, unless you find yourself in a position that yes, you have understood these things. You have understood for loop, right? And now comes the second part, the second loop. Okay. Second loop is a while loop. Okay. So when do we use while loop? When do we use while loop? If we don't know the number of iteration, we don't know that how many times we have to execute that loop. We don't know certain things, right? There are certain scenarios that we don't know that, okay, we have to execute this line of code 1,000 times or 100 times. We don't know the specific timings for that. So what we can use there? We can't write the several things again and again. We would definitely need a loop for that. And obviously, I told you for loop will be executed only when we know the iterations beforehand. We know the range beforehand. That okay, this many times the loop should go. We know that things. Then only we are using for loop. But what if in a case that we don't know that the loop should go this many times these things should occur, this many times we should follow this process. We don't know such things, right? So for that reason, we are using while loop. Okay. So when we are using while loop, if we don't know the number of iterations, then we use while loop. Okay. So we will discuss further the practical implementation of the loop as well and with the jump statements as well. So right now I have covered the theory part of loops. I have covered the theory part for jump statements. Okay. And I hope you guys have understood it. Okay. You have understood the theory part. I hope. If you haven't, then you can watch the videos. And yes, while you are watching this video, I am sure that you are making running notes. I don't want you to sit idly on sofa or on your bed watching this video. No, it will not work. It will not help because at certain point of time you will feel sleepy and you will skip the things, and it will certainly not help you guys in building your career or in sprinting in your career, in your skills, right? It will not help. So I hope you are making the running notes because it will not only help you guys keeping attentive in the meet, but also it will help you guys to memorize the things, to understand the things much easier and in a much better way. And you can remember it long lasting when we compare that you are only watching the videos. Okay. So I hope you are making it. And if you aren't, then take a pen and paper, just start doing these things. It will help you guys as well. It will help you guys. It's not gonna help me. Okay. Now we will move on to the practical part. The practical statement of loops. What is the basic syntax? What is the basic syntax for writing the loop? Okay. So we will discuss it one by one. First, we will discuss about the for loop, right? So what is the basic behind that? Okay. So we have to write for I in range. Okay. Range is a function here. Range is a function here which help us to write the number of iterations. What I have told, for loop will only execute if we know the number of iterations. So here we have to write the number of iterations, the number of times that loop should go. That we have to write here inside range. By the word itself, range, you can see that range means there is a certain what we can say, there is a certain distance that okay, from here till here you have to go it. I think you guys have understood that. What? And again, I here, what is a I? You can write here your name as well. I here basically is a iterator or variable we are used in loop. Instead of I, you can write your name as well. It doesn't matter. And in, I hope you guys have remembered the membership operator, what is in and what's the purpose of in. So I hope you guys have remembered that. Okay. Now, the most important thing which you have to keep it in mind is that inside range function, what is the basic syntax of writing certain things? Okay. So the very first thing, okay, let me comment out this part. Okay. So what's the very first thing? We will write here the starting value, and in between we will write ending or stopping value. And here you will write the steps. And each of thing will be separated by comma. And obviously you have to put the indentation here, the colon sign here. Indentation, what is the indentation? I have explained in my previous video, which was in day 20th video when I was discussing about the conditional statements if else. I have told you guys basically what the meaning of indentation is, what is the indentation, what is the default spaces we use under indentation, how many spaces we can use, but ideally how much space we should use. We have discussed all things, right? So you can just go and watch my 20th day video. Okay, you can understand basically what's the meaning of indentation, right? So here I want you to focus is what is the starting value, what is the stopping value, and what is the steps. Do you guys recall? We have learned it somewhere. I want you guys to comment it on the comment section, or you can comment it on the chat box itself. Okay. So what's where we have used it? This pattern, can you relocate it? Obviously. In indexing, in slicing of strings, slicing of list, slicing of tuples. We have understood that. There we came within this scenario when we were slicing with the things. How we can write this, what is the meaning of starting value, meaning of stopping value, what is the steps, how it occurs. We have discussed all things. So if you are following from day one, I hope you guys will understand how these things work. Okay. And if you don't, I will explain you now as well. Okay. What is the meaning of starting value? For example, you are climbing a stairs, right? So certainly there is a some starting point, whether you are starting from zero or you are starting from the first stairs, right? And definitely there will be the stopping value. The stairs will not go until infinity. It will not go until sky. No, there is a certain limit for that. It will not reach heaven, right? There is no such stairs called. There is a certain limit for that. So the stopping value is there. And steps here, steps again means how many steps you have to take. For example, you have to climb a terrace and you are in a hurry, right? You are getting late for your office and your office is on fourth floor. So what you will do? The lift is quite busy. The lift is stuck on the third floor. For the lift to come to the ground floor, it first have to go to the fourth floor. Then it will again stop at the second floor because people are waiting there. There is a lot of time. So what you will do? You will try moving on through the stairs, right? You will do what you will do? You will sprint on the stairs. You will skip the stairs. You will take two, three steps. You will jump the steps. You are starting, for example, you are starting from step one, then you will skip two steps, you will jump onto the fourth step. Then again you will skip two steps, then again you will jump onto the sixth step. Then again you will skip 2 steps, you will move on to the ninth step, right? So you are skipping the steps. So in the real life, if you are in a hurry, if you want to skip the steps, you are doing that. In Python as well, it goes with the same. If you want to perform certain things, certain scenario is there where we have to skip the steps. So here we can write the steps well. Okay. The same thing we have discussed in the slicing as well. So I hope you guys have understood here till now. Not much, only little is into your brain, that what is the meaning of starting value, what is the meaning of stopping value, and what is the meaning of steps. You have understood that. And by default, the starting value will be zero and ending value and steps will be 1 if you are not assigning any value. If you are not assigning any starting or steps value, by default the starting value will be 0 and steps value will be 1. One thing which you have to assign every time is stopping value, because again I have told you, for loop to operate, we have to know the number of iterations beforehand, then only it will execute. So this is the compulsory thing. If you don't write these two things as well, then also the for loop will work. But again, how it will work? It will work with the default values. The starting by default, it will be from 0 and steps will be 1. It will just go one after another. The steps which you, for example, you are not getting late to an office, you are on time. Okay. So, and the lift is busy. And if you want to do some cardio, so you will just move on to the steps and you will go step by step. You are not in a hurry. You will go just on, you will step into first step, then second, third, fourth, fifth, like this. It will be normal. By default, you are using it. Okay. So that is the case, right? Now, I hope you guys have understood what's the theory behind writing the syntax for loop. The theory of writing syntax of for loop. I hope you guys have understood it, right? Now, what we will do, we will just try executing it for I in range 10. Okay. Here I am mentioning only the stopping value. I am not mentioning the starting value and steps. Okay. And by default, it will be from 0 and steps will be 1. And if I want to print my name, Avinash, print my name is Avinash. Okay. And if I will execute it, see, the my name is getting printed 10 times. Previously, when I have to print my name till 7 to 8 times, I have written the print statement one after another every time. But here, the loop, it makes our life easier. It makes our code easier. I don't have to write my name is Avinash 10 times. It got printed like this. Okay. Now, just let's try adding the steps. Okay. For I in range, for example, I want to start from 1, I want to go till 10, and the step should be 2. Okay. And if I want to print it, print my name is Avinash. Okay. So what you will see, only 5 times it's getting printed. 5 times. Why? Because the step is 5, 2. So it will start from 1. First time it will get printed. Then after first, I'm skipping 2 steps. It will go till 3. Then it will go till 5. Then 7. First, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 9. Then after 9, it will be 11. So how many times you are seeing? 5 times. So that's the reason it's got printed 5 times only. Okay. So I hope you guys have understood what's the meaning of 2, how our code printed my name only 5 times because the step value was 2. And I've shown you how that value came to a conclusion, how it got operated. One important thing which you have to keep it in mind, that loop will always execute stopping value, will execute till stopping value minus 1. What is stopping value minus 1? I've given a value here 10. So the my loop will go till 10 only, till 9. It will not go till 10. That thing we have understood in slicing as well. What is n minus 1? So stopping value minus 1. My loop will go there that only times. It will not go more than that. Means like it will not go till 10. And now let's take a practical example to justify my 14th line, my 14th statement. For to justify it, I'm writing for I in range 10. Right now, I'm not assigning any starting value or steps value. I will just write print. And when I will execute it, you will see that in my 30th, 13th line, I have written by default the starting value will be 0. You can see here the starting value is 0. And in my 14th line, I told that loop will execute till stopping value minus 1. That is till 9. 10, it haven't got printed. Right? I hope you guys are understanding it. I'm repeating. In my 13th line, I have written the starting value by default will be 0. I haven't given any starting value. And by default, you can see here it's 0. And in my 14th line, I have written it will go till stopping value minus 1. And here you can see it went till stopping value minus 1. Okay. So I hope you guys have understood till here. What is the theory behind break, continue, pass? What is the theory behind for loop, while loop? What is the theory behind writing a syntax for while loop? We have implemented some of the codes practically for while loop. We have understood that. We have discussed that. Tomorrow, what we will do? We will start with the while loop discussion. We will move ahead with some of the for loop statements as well. We will move on to the while loop. We will move on to the jump statements as well. So right now I am stopping here and see you guys tomorrow in my 22nd video. And tomorrow we will be continuing with the things. Okay. So till then, I want you guys to practice as much as you can, at least 500 to 1000 lines of code each and every day. Why? Because I want you guys to sprint in upscaling your skills. I want you guys to sprint. Sprint means run faster. Don't just walk it. Just learn the Python in 30 days. Today is the 22nd day. Till day 30, we will be finishing it. So I want you guys to sprint. For that, I want that in the day 30, you should hold at least 30,000 lines of code. And when you will write those, then you can see the difference. Don't focus on the results. I am telling, just follow this process. Focus on this process. Results will be definitely for you guys. So just follow this path, follow the process, and trust the process. Okay. So see you guys tomorrow in my next meeting, and we'll be continuing with the things. Until then, you can just enjoy it whatever you can. Just try reading the mind maps. Just try practicing the code at least 500 to 1000 times. And yeah, see you back tomorrow. Bye bye. Good night. Take care and